Beep. Beep. Hello everybody and welcome to Tech Tips number, I have no idea, Ray, but right now I've got two banked, and I've got one I've got footage for that I haven't processed yet. So I guess I'm 2.5 ahead, and this here is going to put me further ahead so that I can fall behind in my Brazil trip. And Billy says that today it's 91 there.
That's too bad. It's their summer.
Of course, by the time this films, it'll probably be 60 here. A little warmer today, though.
Yeah. I liked it. 14, anything's better.
Yeah, This is a little more reasonable. It's like it's around freezing today instead of around whatever it was around.
8, 14,
Yeah,
10.
that was no fun.
Too hard to work at. Out of the house, driving around. It's just too hard. What am I doing? Yeah.
What are you doing? Looks like you're doing the Jones plugs.
Yeah, there's a pair of 20s to do. It was left.
You took the.
This is one.
Okay, that's one you gotta fix.
Yeah, busted it. This one was just in 2 pieces. I already got the other thrown out. And I'm doing the last of this, and then I'll do this one. Not only are they broke, but look how grody they are.
Here, just beat. So we were lucky enough to up in our junk pile have stuff we could rob.
Clean up, yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Very nice. I have some other little ones because there's more broke on this playfield.
Oh,
I think there's only one. But then this is done. I got the these came out nice.
Oh, you put the side rails on. Did you use these stainless? I see you used the stainless steel screws.
I almost was gonna do nails, but you know what? I like the screws. They make sense.
I came up with that idea.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Because half the time you see these games, the nails are in crooked.
Yeah, and you can't.
And besides, when you re-put these in, since you're using a manual hammer, if you miss, you dent the rail.
Yeah.
You smash your finger, or you can use a nail punch though, which is a round punch with the shape of the nail head, and that actually could use to set them.
Okay, but the factory holes are often they're not straight,
No,
or they don't line up.
When you pull the nail out, the hole's now big because the spiral's tearing the wood out, and they don't go back in tight, so the rails float. So putting nails back in is not the way to go.
So what we've been using are these little itty bitty stainless steel. They are stainless steel.
Yeah.
Itty bitty screws.
And they are great. They go in nice and they hold, and it's just nice to do. It just looks great. It wasn't done in a coin op world because
because people would be fooling around stealing it, but
yeah, the flipper buttons are done.
you got the flipper buttons done. Okay.
Yeah, I did a little polishing in here. I don't know why.
What the? Goofy.
I did that.
Okay, the shooter's done and in.
Yeah, the switch and the hardware, and this is all done.
I assume you rebuilt the chimes by now.
Yes, that has the chimes rebuild kit that I get from.
You got a sticker for the door.
Yeah, I'm ready to tackle the door next. I figured I'd do these because then that'll be they'll make this done. The back box is ready to go on as soon as I'm done with these.
Okay.
And then I got to texture polish or sand the lockdown bar. And then
Oh yeah.
I got the shooter done. This was a new shooter, and then of course I polished.
Right. As you should.
That gray stuff does great, man, don't it? That gray rouge, that's really.
Well, this all looks very nice. So you cleaned and adjusted everything there.
All the stuff was off. And I washed it. You can see they're not dirty. They're washed.
Yeah, it's not sparkling clean.
Well, compared to what it was.
But yeah. Well, you know, again,
I sprayed soap and washed all this.
Again, it's what the customer wants. If the customer wanted a $20,000 restoration, well, then you can take it apart nuts and bolts. But it doesn't.
Gonna want that.
Right.
I don't see any sense in it.
I don't either.
New switches here. Everything's done in the cabinet.
Okay, I'm a little surprised to see that you did not solder the flipper switches on.
Yeah, no, they're nice and tight. I left them alone.
Okay.
Yeah. These I'm going to because these are the tilty feet.
Okay.
Not the tilty feet.
I like to solder the flipper ones on.
Do you?
Yeah. Even if they're tight, I'll leave the clips on there like they are.
Yeah, they're nice and tight,
but
man.
yeah, I'll hit them with a dot of solder anyway, just because I know that they're a weak spot.
They're pretty tight.
Okay, well, it's your job.
Normally I'd cut them off, but I thought, man, you're nice and tight, and none of them are cracked. If I have one out of the 4 cracked, then I'll cut them all off. But,
Okay.
that's what I'm doing.
I assume that took all day.
What?
Whatever you just said.
No, I had housework to do.
Oh no.
Had to change a welder filter. That took a while, and then the fish tank upstairs. Service. I did a nice job.
Okay.
That took me 6 hours. That made me tired.
Need to move that into your game room.
And I was doing some paperwork in there for taxes.
Yeah.
I thought I'd come back out on this and finish this. Just got a new line.
Okay, a 2-wire job.
Yeah, this is that goes on these. 16 gauge, so it's plenty of bad luck.
Melanie came in today. I played with Melanie.
Did you, Mel?
We did the Wizard of Oz video.
I didn't get a chance to get in, man. I was just stuck here.
Yeah, we didn't stay there terribly long. It was still cold. And
Yeah.
we did what we had to do and then called it a day.
I think I got enough white posts, Mike. I found my box. I think I got enough. I got plenty of...
You got the talls. I got the talls. It was missing the shorts.
I got plenty of shorts. I think I got enough shorts, but I'm going to order more for both.
Okay, you need that teal or purple?
For here? No.
I can hook you up with teal and purple.
Can you fix me up with it?
I got that.
Nice. Other than that, I got... I'm just making my checklist of parts
Okay.
as I go along.
Keep it a log of what you do. Or at least some of what you do.
It gets away. This stuff like this
Yeah.
gets away. I'll polish the screws.
Did you really? Well, that doesn't go on the bill, right? You lost your damn mind.
Yeah, well, isn't that neat though?
What the hell? How did you feel about yourself while you were doing that? Did you feel like, I can't believe I'm doing this?
No, I thought, wow, that's neat looking. Look at that. That's
Oh, Lord.
chrome against this.
We're out of business.
So,
It's all over.
I'll notice that.
On the bill.
No, you go in and look at that. He's a car guy. He likes that kind of stuff.
Okay.
A bunch of calls this week. They were all interesting. Got 3 set up for next week already.
Yeah, well, you got a stack of them. All you got to do is just call somebody.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing. I just line them up a week at a time and put them in a row.
What'd you fix interesting? Because it looks like what we've got here is not enough for a tech tip video.
Oh. I fixed the EM Shuffle, which was made in 1968. That was interesting.
Okay.
That was for the guy that owns that 2 men in a truck moving company.
Oh, yeah. You were telling me.
His name's Dale, yeah.
Somebody gave it to him.
He was a Chris Simmons referral, yeah.
How bad was it?
It wasn't terrible. It had years of sitting, though. You know, it needed the normal stuff.
Needed this.
I spent 5 hours on it. Yeah, it needed
How similar is it to this? Very?
Yeah.
Somewhat?
Yeah,
Little
there's
bit?
a lot more stepper units than on a pinball. Pinballs generally only have 3 or 4 stepper units. Shuffle alleys have probably 15.
Oh.
Yeah. There's 1 stepper for each player 1 strike spare unit. That's 6. And then you've got the game selection stepper. That's 7. You've got the score wheel, which compares to this. And then you've got 2 or 3 other steppers that do frame step up, player step up, because you can have up to 6 players. So yeah, there's a lot of step up units. And if any of them don't work or get sticky, which they usually all are, then the game
Whole game
work.
fails.
Yeah. And I did an EM pin. Well, I did, what EM pin was that? yeah, it was an EM pin. It was a 2-player called Indian Brave. It was a Gottlieb.
Brave Indian?
Brave? Indian Brave.
Indian Brave? Brave Indian?
Something like that.
Okay, sounds boring.
Neat 2-player. In 1974. That needed a couple hours, and then that was one call. Yeah, the other one was a neat call, Solar Ride. That was cool.
Solar Ride. EM, Gottlieb.
And then Black Knight was at one call.
No, not EM, System 1.
Yeah. The other call was Black Knight and Close Encounters. That's another System 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff this week.
Okay, well don't let me stop you. Explain what you're doing. Get back to work.
Soldering Jones plugs.
Okay. Are you putting them in or taking them out?
Well, you take them out of this and put them in that. I like how people shove the wire in the hole. I guess because it's there. I don't know.
So you don't shove the wire in the hole?
No. There's no need to.
That wire looks awful.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put in a hole. If you look at how factory Jones plugs are made, they're not shoved in the hole.
Why is it called a Jones plug?
I guess it's who manufactured it, or?
Well, you were around when it happened.
No, it wasn't. The original Jones plugs were straight flat ones. They were from the 50s.
Oh, you make a mess.
I hate when that happens. Anyway, you put a little solder on it, you find out where you're at, which is on this side. And then really you just want to solder it right to the side. You gotta prepare the dot. You can see.
I see you filled them all with solder.
Well, yeah, you don't fill them. You just put a pile on the top.
Okay.
You know, like here's an old one. I'll show you. What you want to do is not get it too hot, because the thing's hollow and it'll come right out the other end. So you just let it cool off, and then you create a bead.
Yeah.
If you look at the factory ones, that's the way they're done. They're soldered off to the side, and the wire comes in the top, and it doesn't go down in, see?
Yeah.
It just goes to the side. If you heat that, the wire is right there. It doesn't go in the tube, because these tubes are hollow. You know, here's an example of one, and they're not filled up. When you do what this guy did, they will fill up.
Oh my!
You don't need that. No,
how much solder did he use there?
Yeah,
all of it.
It doesn't hurt anything, but you don't.
Right.
You don't need to do that.
A little kind of goofy.
No, and the only thing that you want to do is what the factory did. You put a little ball on the top, and then you put the wire on, and that's fine. And in that way, you have your pattern. The wires coming out like this, you know, instead of going in from the top. And then the factory actually twisted them, like with the...
Bundled it.
Yeah, they bundled them with the plastic...
the wax wrap.
So anyway, that's what you do, and then you just keep track of left and right here. Now I'm on this one, which is this one. And this is somebody's previously marginal work.
I saw you unsoldered that. Why did you bother? Why didn't you just cut it?
I don't know. I wanted to see how far they went in it, I guess.
Okay. Because whatever you took out was an ugly mess.
Yeah, and I cut it anyway.
Yeah.
And you only need about this much wire, really.
I see you working with, you got a fender cover there.
Yeah.
You were telling me a story about a fender cover not too long ago.
I should have got a fender cover, because this keeps slipping.
Weren't you telling me a fender cover story not too long ago?
Yeah, it was neat.
Did we film that?
No.
What were you telling me about? You had to buy a fender cover.
Yeah.
Because your car was in the shop somewhere.
Yeah, well, I was getting fender well headers done.
What?
Headers.
Headers?
Headers.
Why were you getting somebody to do your headers?
Because they don't make them for that car, and I wanted race headers. I didn't want street headers.
Oh.
I think several companies made street headers. I didn't want street headers.
You wanted race headers.
Yeah, race headers are custom because they're measured lengths. Primaries are measured lengths, and you know, they're not production. They're not made to fit the car.
Joe Street
they're made
guy.
for horsepower, huh?
Joe Street guy.
Yeah, they're not made to accommodate starters and all that other crap. They're made for horsepower. They don't sacrifice design. And you want long primaries, you got to tell the guy what you're going to do as to what the design of the header is, you know, because you can get step headers. Yeah.
So it was custom made for your car
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't do it yourself.
Right. Yeah, and he made me buy fender covers. I had to go all over. It was funny. Because I didn't bring any with me.
Did you tell him it was a race car? Just don't even use any.
No.
Your car has a nice paint job on it.
Yeah, he saw it was, and he didn't want to, you know, his name was Herb Gebler. He's in Beltsville, Maryland. I don't know if he's still in business. It's called Gebler Headers. He's well known. He did a lot of the NASCAR guys. That's what he was famous for, doing NASCAR headers. In fact, he didn't do very many drag cars. He did mostly NASCAR. And, I still have them. Yeah. These were the...
They look like they're about beat.
Yeah, I got all dusted from the glass feeder. This was an auto parts store back in the day. Probably 70s.
Track
80s.
Auto.
Yeah, Track Auto. This was in Maryland.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, that was a big chain down that way, and I got a cheapy set of
I see that.
these for my car because he... that was funny.
They're beat looking.
Yeah.
Throw that out, man. You told your story. It's now documented. Throw that shit out.
I got some nice ones in there. Yeah, I got to clean out in here, Mike.
Yeah, it's a pile of shit.
I got to start with this Quinop shit.
Yes. You got some racetracks over there. What are you doing with them?
I don't know. That's when I was a kid. Remember?
They had electricity back then?
Yeah. Yeah, they had water too.
Stink bug, man.
Damn things. Electricity.
For those of you viewing in other countries, Romania, we've got viewers in Romania.
Okay. That's a stink.
This is a stink bug, who's flipped upside down for some reason because I flicked him.
Well, they're dormant right now.
Well, this one ain't. This one's mad because he's on his back.
Like a turtle.
At any rate, if he manages to flip back over, they're kind of a nuisance bug, I got to tell you. But for being a nuisance bug, they're not too bad. They're not like a mosquito or anything like that. They don't really bite you or sting or do anything. They just kind of they seek warmth and they fly around, and they're not very good flyers either. They kind of just they make this buzzing helicopter noise, and they bounce into and off of just about everything.
Yeah.
Because they're just not very talented at flying, and that's what they do. And if you step on them, they smell like shit.
They have an odor for the size of them that's unreal.
Yes, they smell absolutely vicious.
And they don't stink like a skunk. They actually don't stink too bad. They smell like stale, like a wet rag that was left. Really? They don't stink.
They're wet rag to you?
Yeah, they smell like a wet wash rag.
I hear he found right side up. It only took him that long. He's related to a bug that I put on eBay a couple years ago.
They are, yeah.
When I caught that wheel bug, which is
never heard of it.
Which is, from what I understand, you don't want to get stung by that because it's extremely poisonous.
Yeah, it'll kill the skin and wherever the bite area
it'll rot you. So if you see what looks like a stink bug but's bigger and has horns on its back, yeah, don't mess with that dude.
Go the other way.
Stink bug, shoo him off. Don't step on him or the area will stink. You can vacuum them up if you got like a shop vac, but then they get, you don't have to step on them to make them stink either. They can stink they can stink as a defense mechanism. They don't like to get vacuumed up, and they'll stink.
Yeah, they will. Anything like that. The best thing to do is to put them in water like a toilet and flush them.
You like to flush them? I found, this has been advertised before, that that spray adhesive works real well on them. Spray adhesive, yeah.
You repurposed spray adhesive.
Yeah, Kevin said he learned that from me, and he now has stink bugs stuck all over his house. I think he's playing. I ain't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, this cloth stuff's hard to deal with.
We got a recent comment on our, what was that? The trip to Felix's shop. I split that video into two parts: the trip, and the second part was the paint shop. And one of our viewers said something about how our trip section was something to the tune of extremely boring. Yeah, get over it.
Boring.
We're talking about pinball and similar stuff. I think it's boring too, Ray.
Well, there's one done, Mike.
You know, it's almost as boring as talking about it as actually doing it.
Oh.
That whatever you're doing, that looks pretty boring.
I like it. I'm fixing it, man.
And you got another patch of 10 to do. That's
Well, 20. Yeah.
20. That's a stinking hour.
There's 10 aside. It's a 20 pinner.
Ooh. That one's done though.
Well, the problem is you can leave it alone and just clean these sections, although it's hard. But then you can't get them out of order. They almost go like this.
Yeah.
But it just looks like a train.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I guess officially that is still usable. You could clean those and plug them in.
But and this comes up through here, of course, and goes into the back box.
But that's not restoration,
This goes across the bottom.
That's hacking.
Of the back. Yeah, I don't. And besides, these things don't look like they're worth saving. I don't want them that. They got to be that. So that's.
So yeah.
When I'm finishing my control panel, it's the only thing left that was really bad here. There was a lot of weird stuff going on here. I corrected all of it.
Okay.
So this should turn on and work.
What weird stuff did you encounter down there?
Well, they didn't have the right resistor, so they used this.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, well, I replaced that, and along with corrected all kinds of bent wire, because somebody was in here and just did this.
Yeah.
Leaned over all and shorted them most of these, but I corrected...
I see a little bit of new wiring in there, too. A little bit.
Yeah. So I corrected a bunch of stuff here. And of course I washed the wood, cleaned the wiring, tightened all the stacks up, and they get loose. So it'll be a little easier to service and maintain for anybody that's in here.
Okay.
All very time consuming.
What's the back box unit look? Can we go over that?
Back box unit's over there.
Can we take a look at it?
Yeah.
Because what you're showing me here is pretty dull.
Yeah, well, it's done, but it's dull.
Yeah, maybe that's another reason why people don't like to work on EMs, because they're dull.
Yeah.
It's just kind of lather, rinse, repeat, clean,
Change my filter.
clean, file, adjust, change the filter.
This is my new thingy, man. It's a lot neater than
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
The nails are falling out. They're all over the floor. I keep picking them out of the urinal.
Oh.
The roofing nails?
Yeah.
This is the back box. It has a repair on it here.
Okay.
Which I might have to do something with. I don't know. And you can see if you lift it up wrong, you're going to hurt it. Because it's cracked right here. And it's flexing
It's
here.
got problems, yeah. Okay.
And you know why this game has my vote? Because it's a two-player game. I like two-player games. When I see four-player EMs like this, I almost want to run the other way.
So much work.
Too much more. I like twos. Ones are nice, but they're usually wedge heads. I like the twos.
Okay.
Fours are too much to deal with. I mean, if you have to, you can. That Joker Poker thing was intense. But yeah, this is cracked, so somebody fixed it, and it was cracked down this corner here, and then of course here, and that's where the two small parts are. So I might have to glue and clamp this. See, because it pivots down here.
Okay, or put a brace on it too.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's out of sight. So if you got to
somebody did.
Oh, they did.
But it ain't a real good brace.
Oh, the brace it broke at the brace.
Well, look, it's tin. How's it gonna? That thing gonna support? The wood is stronger. Piece of tin there. I mean, this is not a brace. They didn't do a brace here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come up with something. And then the next item would be to start doing this.
Okay, so this is really all the same as what you looked at over there.
Yeah. And I should these were them 10, 20 pin.
Okay.
They go there. These bolt to the
bolt in the cat or then
they go in here. Yeah. Really, this should go back together pretty nice. As soon as I get rid of riggings like that. There's a few, like this spring is supposed to be like this. In fact, if you notice, all these are the same weight spring.
Yeah.
All of them. There isn't any like this.
What's that?
I don't know.
That don't look right to me.
I'm going to wreck it.
Wreck-It Ralph, huh?
Yeah, I have kits for these. Pinball Resource makes the springs that go here. I'll put the right one on there. This S relay is the match relay. And that's what this is. And what this thing does is it feeds a little ratchet. There's a little plastic pawl ratchet here, and that randomly makes the the match thing.
Oh, does it randomly do it?
Yeah.
How is it random?
Let me think once. This gets several pulses at the end of the game, so it just takes a couple steps.
Generated by where?
The score motor.
Okay, well then how is it random?
Alright, here's how it's random. How many bonus points you have is how many it steps.
Bonus points.
Yeah, bonus. So it's counting down a bonus, then it fires this, and then it shuts off when the ball drains, the last ball, whether it's 3 or 5. So that's how it gets more pulses. If you have no bonus, you get no pulses, it'll just fire where it was.
Okay, well some games don't have bonus.
Some games don't have bonus?
Don't they? Do all of them have bonus?
All of the EMs have bonus.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah. If they don't, it fires some other way, I would imagine, but all of them that I ever paid attention to have bonus.
So it's tied to your the action of your
bonus
last ball.
On the last ball, yeah.
Neat.
And it fires. I watched it at work one time. It's kind of neat. Now also, some of them, you're right, some of them that don't have bonus, when the game's starting up and it's resetting the reels and it's clicking.
It's reading something there.
Yeah, and it fires this several times
to set
then.
It.
Yeah, and then when game over happens, then it just reads this. So it could be either way. It depends on.
Yeah, because I've seen games that don't have bonus.
You're right. So it depends on how the game's design is, where that gets its pulses from. But it doesn't just sit there. It steps a few times randomly, and that's when you get your different match.
Neat.
To me, that was the highlight of most pins, because I never was good enough to get a score. I wanted it to match. Come on, match. Although I was pretty good with these. I used to get my fair share of replays.
So, in this era of pin, the match percentage was not adjustable by the operator.
Oh, no.
That didn't happen until solid state.
Right. Yeah, you couldn't control where that was going to go. No. No. They selected, they had conservative and liberal play features on this, which would have had to do with how many times it takes to get a bonus feature or whatever.
Right.
You know?
They could control the score, and of course there were manual adjustments as well.
Yeah.
Size of out lanes, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you had your ball selection, 3 or 5. Most of these were set to 5 because the EM was just generated. They play different if you set them at 3 or 5, though.
Yeah.
Because if you've got rollover lamps, it'll light 2 of them at a time instead of 1.
Yeah,
it'll
for 3
give you
ball.
a head start on some of them.
Right.
So they do control some features that way with these. But they had limitations because they were mechanical. And there's only so much you can do with what you have room for here. Otherwise you would need more units, more relays, and there's just only so much room you can do this with.
There's room in the dumpster.
I'm talking about in the game.
We could throw some trash in the game and then put all of it in the dumpster.
All of it in the dumpster. Do you think you would have liked these if you grew up with them?
Probably
I
not.
like them, and I grew up with them. Does that mean anything? Not really.
I don't get it.
No. Well, you like what you grew up with.
Okay.
No?
Maybe. I guess.
There are some people that are exceptions, though. They like everything. Some people have everything. I had an interesting call with Mark the other day, and that was neat. That was more or less just pick-up delivery, though. But I did get the other, maybe we should bring that in, and you can take a gander at that.
What is it? What do we got?
Well, this trade stimulator, he got me the right one.
Oh, you got Poison the Rat now?
Yeah, poison rat. We got to take a picture of that. It's just for, it's rare. It's neat.
Okay.
It doesn't do like smack the jab. It doesn't catch pennies, and they don't tumble down on nails. You move his mouth, his head, and catch the little ball.
Okay, well, we can make this another short tech tips. We're still pre-vacation here, so stay with us. I'm promising it's going to get better. But I'm with that idea, Ray. Let's cut here. Is it in the truck?
Yeah.
Let's go get it. You're going to service it here, right?
Yes.
Well, let's go get it, and we can do a review on that. And then I'm going to go home and rejoin what I was doing, trying to get the WAS video
Critters
done.
3.
No, I'm not watching Critters 3.
There is no Critters 3. You're going to rewatch Critters 2.
Trying to get this WAS video done. You know, I went searching for the rules so we could do an overview of the rules.
Such a bad movie.
Yeah. And there are none. Nobody knows the rules to WAS.
Okay.
So yesterday I figured them all out the best I could, and then I wrote a poor 5-page script for Melanie.
Wow.
So we went over the 1.25 rules.
She's not coming back
in
now.
depth. Yeah, she quit. No, she didn't quit. I made it easier for her. I did the script.
That's cool. Okay.
And then we played it, and then she left.
Who never gets what movie Jean was watching tonight? She likes that. She was watching Woz.
What?
She loves that movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta have her see the pin, man. I might have to bring it over here.
Yeah.
She can play it.
Yeah, she can play it over there.
Nah, she don't go over there. Anyway, let's go ahead and get...
Okay, let's do that. Because this is boring. Extremely.
That's what I'm working on, dude.
For sale. Partially a roadshow with new decals on it. And 2 out of 4 painted legs. And
I'm going to paint the other 2.
And it looks like it's got a brand new coin door in it.
It does. I put all the boards back that you guys took out.
It's got new thingamabobs are on here. Looks like it comes with new rails. And yeah, that's all you get. $50.
There's decals in here in the book.
Oh my God. There's another stink bug.
He's crashing.
He hit his head. Oh my!
This is...
Is that for real?
Yeah, this is really incorrect.
Yeah, the box don't look right.
No. Somebody made it new.
Does it work?
Yeah.
So this is, no, it's poison this rat is what it says. Poison this rat.
Poison this rat.
5 pills for a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that something?
And then you tumble it.
Oh, it's like one of them, yeah, one of them games.
Yeah. And then it's poisoned and you get several balls to try it.
Apparently you get 5 for a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Insert penny, release pill slowly, flip handle. Outstanding double cross, 1941. Liar's medal. Ain't that something?
Yeah. It's pre-war, you know. I think somebody painted the cabinet though.
Yeah, well.
And that's not what he wants me to deal with. But
Yeah, well. Ain't probably much of anything interesting in the back of this one.
no.
Okay. I don't know what he expects you to do with that. What? Alright, well, you're gonna have to find a penny and we're gonna have to... Oh, you got... Oh, is that why you went in there for pennies? Alright. Well, we could send that to Fabulous Fantasies and you could put a quarter mech in it.
Yeah, one of them big honking... What are they?
Yeah, like a laundromat job that takes 4 quarters.
Laundromat, that's what that was.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay. You put your coin in, it did that.
Yeah.
This thing ain't gonna work.
There's it.
This game sucks. This game sucks. That's annoying as hell. Coin up. It's all junk. I'm going that way. This thing needs a major tune-up, right?
Yeah. Okay. You ever seen anything like it?
No, but I'm very annoyed all of a sudden.
You don't like it?
I want to throw it out. It's pretty cool though. It'd be more fun if it friggin' worked.
Do you ever see them trucks at 1-800-GOT-JUNK?
Yeah. Well, they'd have a field day here.
They would have to bring all their trucks.
All of them.
All
2 men in a truck.
All of them.
Here it comes. All right. You're gonna fuck this up. I can see it already. This is like ice cold beer. All right. Don't fuck up this time. You're terrible.
Definitely annoying. I agree, Mike. Put it back out of the truck.
It used to work. Well, Ray, there's another tech tips. I don't know. Got anything you want to say about that?
I brought it in. I don't know. I'll do what I'm supposed to with it and then
Fix it.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll work when he gets it.
It's going to an auction in Adamstown.
Probably a high-end auction would be my guess.
Yeah, Morphe's.
Oh yeah.
I've never been there. I don't know. But yeah.
Not that that looks. Not that that looks like a high-end piece, but it probably is pretty rare.
It's called a trade stimulator, and it was supposed to sell savings bonds.
Yeah.
Pennies in. I guess they had a row of them. They're all the same size because I got the other one out in the truck. I think that was more fun because at least you had the.
Oh, but there was no skill involved in that one. This one you actually play.
Yeah, well, all right.
This is like ice cold beer. You can play this.
Yeah, okay.
So this one gets a winner.
I'll tune it up, and it'll serve what purpose it will have.
Okay. Well, we're at 0 minutes, so greet the folks goodbye.
See you next time, you guys, and stay tuned. We'll have some more interesting stuff.
We're gonna work on that.
We're gonna work on that. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again soon.
Hi, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Want to know what's coming next? Go like us on Facebook right now. You can keep up to date with all of us here at the shop and what we've been up to. Thank you for watching.